Hi everybody, it's Steve Smith again, coming live at our booth here at AHR Expo. I'm the editor of PHC News magazine, and we've been conducting a series of interviews. We did a bunch yesterday on day one of AHR Expo, and of course we're back now for day two. My next guest is Brandon Gunnell. Brandon is the Vice President of Precision Plumbing Products. Brandon, thanks for coming by.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your career in the PHC world?
I've been in this industry, probably getting to be on maybe almost 30 years.
30, wow.
Yeah, right out of school, even while in school. I worked with a wholesaler. My father was in the industry, and you have a tough time getting out of this industry once you're in. And then moved to another big manufacturer for, I'd say it was about 17 years.
Okay.
And then found a new home at PPP about 5 years ago, and couldn't be happier.
Very good. Well, I was thinking about you the last couple Sundays. Your company's kind of been in the news in a way. I visited the SoFi Stadium a couple years ago when it was still under construction, and PPP put in electronic trap primers in all the bathrooms at the stadium. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we have products. We have that and water hammer arresters. We have various products all over that stadium. It was a neat project. It was neat seeing that with you beforehand, and look forward to seeing it maybe when I'm finished. But yeah, every time it's on TV, we'll see it for the Super Bowl. They'll be a proud. Another interesting thing, the soccer stadium next door, that's a neat facility. Products are all over that too.
All right,
so
good. Any idea how many products are in the SoFi Stadium? There's plenty of bathrooms, I'm sure.
Well, it's not just the bathrooms, right? So anywhere there's a drain, it needs to be primed. You don't want it to smell, so lots of drains in there. I couldn't even tell you, and even the project that we supplied, I'm sure that there was product on the shelves through our distributors that snuck in there too, so lots.
Very good. Well, why don't you tell us about obviously the pandemic is one of those news stories that doesn't seem to go away, and but you had a pretty good year last year, as a lot of manufacturers did. I mean, it seems paradoxical, I suppose. It's kind of bad news on one hand and good news on the other. So what were your sales, and what was the sales highlights of last year?
You know, we snuck out 2020, right? A lot of hard work, and then that was more. We were able to ship. People were able to ship. And then 2021, and there's a lot of supply chain issues for others. We can talk about that. But just a nice sales year, building a backlog. We ship overseas too, and it seemed like maybe China and Taiwan are starting to come out of it a little bit, so we've had a lot of sales there. But yeah, really a nice year, coming off 2020, which was a flat year, but still a good year. We're proud of the 2020.
Were there I'm curious, any particular segments, at least for North America, the United States, any particular segments of the market that were particularly positive and up?
Obviously, big buildings, nobody wants to build big buildings as much. People are trying to not get together. I think they're still going to build big buildings. They're just going to be more space in the buildings and not so crammed together. But I was shaking the and but a lot of infrastructure, schools. That's where we've done really well.
Good. So we talked a little bit beforehand before we went live, and you alluded to it too about the supply chain issues. You mentioned that it hasn't really been that much of a problem for you since so much is domestic. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Right. So with us, like a lot of people, we're hiring. We need more labor, but we've been able to do that with technology, but also the supply chain. We've really PPP is a domestic product. We try to be as domestic as possible. And for us, a lot of our sourcing domestic companies have had better lead times. We don't have to wait for shipments to come overseas. A lot of the supply chain is actually, sitting on the water for a long time. So I think that's part of us being able to increase and build our backlog, having it being a domestic source and being able to probably ship. I think we've picked up some share doing that.
Good. Okay. And now what's going on at your company headquarters in terms of employment, manufacturing? I mean, I know I've been there. It's been a few years, but the people that are assembling things are obviously not working from home. But is everyone else doing that still? Are you coming back in the office? What's going on?
You know what? We've taken a hybrid approach.
Okay.
We did a good job. For some reason, I had bought a bunch of laptops right before, the big shutdown.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of well versed. So we came back in the office, and then, we monitor it. If anybody's feeling at all anything, stay home, work from home. You can be productive from home.
Mm-hmm.
They are as productive, sometimes more. You don't have, as much going on. But so in the office, we've been able to take a hybrid approach.
Okay.
In the back, workstations, try to stay at your workstation. Tried to, the lunchroom, close the lunchroom, please have lunch off site.
Okay.
Those sorts of things. And we've really had a lot of success. And PPP has an aging workforce, that it's people come work for us, they stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would love to hire and get new people, but just like a lot of companies are to source labor.
Yeah.
And so we've really had to rely on technology. We've added 5, maybe a 6th robot on the way.
Oh, okay.
So cobot, I should say. So instead of one of these employees putting together, they have 3 robots and the one employee. So it's
so they're working alongside robots.
cobot is
Cobot.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's a cobot.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase before.
It doesn't
And-
replace the people. I think our processes are manual enough, and we still want that. I think we get a lot of our quality from our people and our inspection along the way. Everything we make is 100% tested.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of quality that can be done as you go along because of the people there. So
Okay.
the robots can do a lot of things for you, but I think that they're integral to our processes.
Good. Now, another labor issue that you mentioned before we went on live is having to do with outside the company, with regulatory bodies or certificate bodies, whatever you want to call these. They're short-staffed as much as everybody else. And I hadn't really thought that much about that.
That's exactly right. We have some products that we'd love to introduce to market, and you take those products, and with PPP, one of the things, all of our products, we carry a lot of approvals, industry-leading type approvals. That's important for a number of reasons, right? But we've found that some of these new, you send out, it's a lot of it's the labs that are testing your products as well. We have an in-house lab. We've helped some of the labs build their equipment to do testing. We do a lot of work with the ASSE to be on their committees and are really involved that way. But in sending our labs out to independent labs, there's been a definite struggle.
Yeah. Would you be able to quantify how long it's taking to do this, or you still haven't done what you need to do? Is that the problem?
Yeah. So it's been weeks and months.
Right.
There's always a lead time there.
Yeah.
And you get something back, and they want to see something else, and you tweak it, and it's always a process, and it varies. But it's definitely added to the lead time of bringing new products to market.
Well, you mentioned the product testing that you do. I know that from your company, from visiting your company and talking to you, of course, all your product is tested, yeah? 100%, not just a little spec job here and there. do a spot check. It's
So
everything.
there's two things. We've created a wonderful testing lab that helps us define how our products work and create new products, and kind of a proactive type thing. But yeah, also every product we made is tested before it's boxed and goes out the door for sure.
And the other thing your company is pretty well known for is customer service. What can you tell us about that?
I think that's one of the things that we send out surveys like everybody, ISO 9000, and it's a nice thing. And what constantly comes back is that our customer service, we really believe in the ability to talk to somebody live. So if you call PPP, someone's going to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And really, it allows us to, not a ton of people prime traps and do water hammer arrestor. And we feel that if we can if we can solve problems, whether you buy it from us or not, we prefer you do, and you're getting a good, solid product. But if we can solve problems, people understand how well the products work, it's just a good thing overall for what we do.
Good. Brandon, I know that you don't have a booth here, but you're walking the show. Obviously, you're visiting, and you're here with us. But what can you tell us about some new products at the company, or newer products at least?
A lot of it. We have some new ones that are coming out. I don't know if I want to talk a ton about them, but some of the things that we have done, we've done a lot of product betterment. We've our PR 500, which is a pressure drop activated primer.
Okay.
It's the #1 SKU we do. We've made that the most sensitive product on the market because of today's low flow fixtures, right? People are trying to use less water, and that's something that we understand, and you still need to prime the drains. Water conservation is a big deal.
Right.
And the electronic trap primers that we produce are wonderful for that.
Okay.
They, think of SoFi Stadium in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and you have a pressure activated primer. Well, somebody's flushing the toilet one after another. That drain is getting super primed.
Yes.
And then maybe during the week it's much less.
Nothing's there. Nothing's happening.
If you're able to use an electronic that has a timer that has a metered amount, if you set it for just above the evaporation rate, drain is always going to be primed, and they're using the minimal amount of water.
Okay. So safe to say you're taking old school products that companies always made and making them better, new and improved.
We've done a lot of that.
Yeah. Catchword.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We also, PPP is big on sustainability. Because our products are, the water's going down to a drain, there's not as big a concern about, lead and stuff, but we still feel there's the afterlife of the product, right? So they tear down the building, and then there's this brass piece. What is, where does that go? So we've taken a lot of steps to make all of our products lead free, where it's feasible, right? You might find a screw somewhere or something, but we do our best to and underwent an initiative to become as green as possible.
Very good, very good. So you mentioned some new products in the works. Are they going to be released this year at some point, or what?
I hope so. They're
you still got
in those testing.
Yes.
Right.
Stuck in transit.
There's
I guess.
some like an air admittance type valve, for venting, and maybe like a trapless that fits down in the drain.
Okay.
It's not a good idea to prime without water. I mean, you need that water seal.
Yes.
And that's super important. And if you're an engineer out there, make sure you use a trap primer with that water seal. But there's some value in having some of those, that keeping bugs out, slowing the evaporation rate, those sorts of things.
All right. So more to come.
Right. We're looking forward to it. There's a lot of exciting things, and it's so nice we've all been cooped up.
Yes.
And, it allows you to prepare and get ready, and now we're ready to bust loose with all the new cool stuff that we've put together.
Good. Well, that's a good positive note to end it on.
Very good.
Thanks for coming by.
It's always a pleasure, Steve.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. As Brandon mentioned, the Super Bowl is in 2 Sundays. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to be watching that game thinking about all these products. That could just be me, though. Yeah. But you too.
Yeah, all right. Our crew, anyways.
Well, thanks again. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back for some more interviews. Thank you.